paní Jo Higgins Cezzy, která přijde teď mezi nás. Please, Jo, come to join us. Netuším, co znamená slovo resilience, ale v průběhu jejího příspěvku se to dozvíme. Myslím si, že se to bude týkat něčeho ve smyslu, že v poslední době firmy kladou stále větší důraz na výkon lidí, na jejich přístup k práci, k emocím a podobně. Takže prosím, nechme si to vysvětlit. Jo, it's yours.
Thank you. My name is Jo Higgins Cezzy and I'm here to talk to you about workforce resilience training. But first of all, I have a question for you as HR managers, most of you. Is life more difficult for you now than 5 years ago? Yes or no? Yes. Yes? Would you like your staff to do more work in a better way? Yes, or no? Yes? Would you like your staff to complain less? Well, this is for you then. You'll love this. Okay, first of all, what does the word resilience mean? Some people think it means resistance. It doesn't really mean that. And it isn't really strength either. It's more than that. It's those two things together. But there are some important words on the slide there. Adaptability, flexibility, and balance. All of those are important. And also the last point, seeing setbacks, problems, adversities as challenges for growth and opportunity, not as stress and frustration. Okay. That's my logo, Resilience Matters. Apologies, it's come out in black instead of white, but I hope you can see that the logo is a reed, and the reed is the one that blows in the wind. When the wind blows, the reed bends, it doesn't break. The oak tree breaks sometimes in a very strong wind, because if you're very rigid, when you get a lot of pressure, you break. So resilient people don't break. Why do organisations need workforce resilience training? They need it because there's a very important word on the slide there, thrive, not survive. Survive means getting through problems. Thrive means growing better, stronger, healthier, more productive, more competitive, being the best in the market. What sort of problems stop you from thriving? Lack of resilience can lead to stress. Stress-related absenteeism costs a lot of money. As HR managers, you know that. When somebody's sick, they cost you money. There's a lot of pressure out there. We are all working harder, and it's considered good to work longer and harder. But when you put your staff under too much pressure, they can get ill, or they want to leave. All the research shows that a more engaged workforce is more productive, and Tony, my colleague over there, will be showing you other ways that you can make your staff more productive. You need high levels of resilience to make the organisation more competitive. Resilience is a natural thing that you have, but you can grow your resilience. The choice is yours as HR managers. Do you want to keep your people as they are, or do you want to grow their resilience? What does it cost when someone goes sick? These figures are taken from the UK figures, which I've translated into Czech crowns, so they're more or less average. That's the average number of working days lost because people are sick, 7.7. That's the cost per day on average. So that's the cost per year to you for each employee who goes sick. If you've got 500 staff, you multiply that figure, and that's the cost to you with 500 staff. If you'd like to know the cost to your organisation, I've got a calculator that will do this for you, and you just put in the number of staff you've got. If you want a copy, send me an email, and I'll send it to you. Obviously, if you reduce the number of working days lost by half a day, your costs go down. You save money, and that's the source at the bottom, the Chartered Institute for Personal Development Absent Management Programme. So, we found a study that said, what do Czech managers think about the effects of stress? What do you think they said? They said that most organisations don't pay enough attention to it. The results of this are 32% reported lower quality work. Less work means less money. Poor work can mean loss of contract. And failure to meet deadlines, which is a problem for a lot of people. And that's the source for that on the bottom. So what are the issues you as managers, and especially as HR managers, need to resolve? These are what are contributing to employee underperformance. Austerity measures, cuts in budget, cuts in government spending, cuts. Being afraid of losing your job and being asked to do too much work because maybe your colleague has left and you're doing their job. Something very interesting about these last 2 points, from the worker's perspective, can they control them? No, they can't. That doesn't mean they can't do anything about them, and that's the difference between a resilient and a non-resilient person. A resilient person will know not to waste their time and energy on things that they can't control. Instead, you look at the problem in a different way, you apply your resilience strategies, and you are less stressed. So, question mark, how do we do this? This is what resilient people and resilient organisations know how to do. They know how to feel less stressed because they are resilient. So you either have this resilience or you need to grow it. As I said before, they focus on what they can, not what they can't control. The middle point is very interesting. They embrace change. A lot of people are frightened of change. If you're resilient, you're not frightened of it because you see it as an opportunity for growth. So, as Tony's going to talk about later, if you need to introduce change in an organisation, you need to have resilient people. And a very important point, resilient people make rational decisions even under pressure. They don't go, my deadline, my project, my supplier's gone, my contact's gone, my customer. They don't do that. They make clear, logical decisions by applying strategies that, if you want to know more about, they'll be in the workshop tomorrow. And the object is to consistently improve performance and productivity, because that's what we're all here for. So that's what it is. The difference between two people, this came out of some psychological research, that children who have very, very difficult, horrible, terrible backgrounds, we're not surprised when they grow up if they go into problems like drugs, alcohol, crime, violence, but not all of them. Some of them go on to be fantastic, successful people. So clearly, it's not the childhood that makes the difference. It's what's inside. It's the resilience. What are some of the challenges for you today? Well, I did a little bit of research, and I found this. You don't have to agree with it, it's just what I found. These are some of the austerity measures facing the Czech Republic. And if you read them, you will see that once again, these are things that you cannot control. That doesn't mean you have to be depressed, anxious, frightened, non-resilient. If you have resilient strategies, you can deal with all of this. Then I found some personal development challenges, and I thought this is very interesting because a lot of resilience training centers on your beliefs, what you believe about yourself, that is an obstacle to you being better than you are. And I put some of the words in green because they're all words connected with resilience, ambition, self-confidence, underestimating your skills. How many people do you know who underestimate their ability? I can't do it. Yes, you can. Positivity, very much linked to resilience training. Motivation to achieve more. And I thought that was very, very interesting because all the people I've spoken to today have had wonderful English. So these are some of the challenges that people often say they have. Do you have some of those? Maybe you have different ones. Somebody's smiling. You have some of these. Inefficient systems in the middle. Tony is going to talk to you about how to make your systems more efficient. Difficult boss, difficult clients, difficult colleagues. Can you get rid of them? No. So you need to learn how to deal with them. Work-life balance. We'd all like a much better work-life balance, wouldn't we? Lack of confidence in ability to succeed. And fear of failure. It's nothing to be frightened of. You just need to learn how to deal with it. Why does it matter? As I said before, flexibility, adaptability. If you have a resilient mindset, you can tackle all of those challenges. I'm sure you know that name, the presence here at the conference today. Found a little bit of research that PricewaterhouseCoopers have done, and it centres on something that they call workplace wellness. So that means the health, the complete health of the employee at work, because we know that if someone is ill, they go home and they don't work. What if someone is ill in here or in here? They don't work well. They are at work, but they are not working as well. And notice that it says makes commercial sense. I brought something with me today, and I've been asking people if they recognise it, and I know that some of you do, some of you don't. That is some very famous British chocolate from a firm, I'm not promoting them, from a firm called Cadbury's. Cadbury's chocolate are very, very famous in the UK. The man called Joseph Cadbury set up a chocolate factory in England hundreds of years ago. He understood that his employees, his workers, needed to be healthy. What did he do? He built a factory, and then he built houses for the workers, he built sports centres, he built parks for them to walk in. The reason why he did it was for moral reasons. He was a very religious man, and he believed that he should help his workers. But he also understood, 200 years before we understood it, that wellness makes commercial sense. And that's why you get a lot of health programs now in organisations that you didn't have before. That's the source of that. I'd also like to introduce you to the idea of presenteeism. You're probably familiar with the term absenteeism, being absent from work. Presenteeism means being present at work, but not achieving your full potential, because you've got other problems that are stopping you from doing it. One of them could be anger. A lot of people, do you know any angry people? Frustrated people? Stressed people? They impact other people, don't they? Sometimes it only needs one person in an office to have a very big effect on others. Underperformance costs you money. If they don't deliver as much as they could deliver, you don't want them in your company. You want people who can perform to the best. So the well-being, it costs you money. It saves you money, and it's better to do it. These are some of the findings from the PricewaterhouseCoopers research. There are 3 areas which affect employee well-being. First one, health and safety. These are government regulations. Again, you're lucky in the Czech Republic, you don't have half as many as we have in the UK. You cannot move for health and safety in the UK. On the other side, absence management. This is normal practice that you do when an employee is sick. You have procedures that you do to manage that. The one that's a little bit missing is the one in the middle there, prevention and promotion, health promotion. You may do this in your organisations. Do you give your employees health insurance? Do you give them free or subsidised subscriptions to gyms, health centres? Maybe you do some of that. Work-life balance and stress management. What do you do to improve their work-life balance? Probably you do some stress management once the employee is stressed. And once the employee is stressed, the employee is costing you money. This is not stress management resilience training. It's getting there before stress comes so that stress doesn't cost you money. Career and personal development, I'm sure you all do some of this. You do leadership programs, you do all sorts of training, you maybe have coaches. Do you have resilience training? Because that's what you really need to input into well-being. So this is what it looks like. That is the prevention and promotion from PricewaterhouseCoopers. That's workforce resilience. That's what workforce resilience does. It will deliver all of those things. And all of those things can be subsumed into the personal and professional excellence, because that's what you want at work. These are some of the key elements of workforce resilience training. Positive thinking. There's a lot written about that these days. But I make the point of realistic optimism. Some people are too optimistic, and that's not good. Oh, it's fine, it'll all be wonderful, it's great, the sun always shines, the birds always sing, everything's fantastic. No, it isn't. We know that life is hard. What we need is some hard, realistic optimism to help us through that, to cope with the pressure, to build our confidence, even if we're confident people. I bet that each and every one of you in the room has one area of your life that you are not confident in. If it's a small area, you're lucky. If it's a bigger area, you need to identify it, why it is, and use resilience training to work on it. Who let the dogs out? I'm not going to say a lot about this. It's a very big subject. What do dogs do when they are let out? They bark. They make a noise, they run after people, they attack people, they eat other animals, they destroy things, they may even kill you. In resilience training, you learn to keep all of these dogs inside so that they're not running your life, you are running your life. And resilient goal setting, very important, that one, to have goals that will allow you to demonstrate your resilience and help you to grow your resilience. And the last one, stretch. You need to challenge yourself constantly to grow. We don't want presenteeism. We want people who are confident to challenge themselves, to grow, and to deliver more. So, I bet you want to know, who is it for? Who needs this? A lot of people. Senior managers leading teams, because if the manager isn't resilient, the team will be less resilient, the team will deliver less. People with negative mindsets. Do you know someone for whom the glass is always half empty? Are they nice to work with? No, we don't want those people. Employees who cause conflict, troublemakers, we've all got them, and they impact on other people who can't deal with the conflict. New hires or the newly promoted, people who've been waiting to get a role, and when they get it, they panic. Oh, I can't do it. What if I can't do it? It's not what I thought. People working too hard, anyone facing change and challenge, which I think is probably all of us, and anyone who could improve their performance, which again is all of us. We can always do better, to make an organisation that's thriving, not surviving. These are the examples of how you can customize workforce resilience training. There is a core package, but you can use it to address specific issues, and those are some of the ones that I've done in the past. And here I thought you might like to know the names of some organisations who have become very, very interested in resilience training over the last few years. Not that I've worked with all of them. I have not worked with the US Army. I'm sure I'd love to, but I heard a radio interview the other day, and they were talking about it. It was a lady pilot who was shot down over Iraq during the war, and how she used resilience to survive that and thrive. And she was saying that when you get soldiers into the US Army, they have a level of resilience. You don't know what that level of resilience is, so you have two choices. You can either accept that level of resilience and keep them as they are, or you can choose to grow their level of resilience so they will do better. And this is equally applicable to you. Do you want your employees to stay where they are, or do you want them to grow? I think there's a strong business case here for saying, yes, we need them to grow. British cycling team is an interesting one. If anybody's interested in cycling, you may know the name of a British cyclist called Chris Hoy, who has 3 gold medals, which he says he got because of resilience training. I think also he's probably a good cyclist. But as well as having talent, you need resilience, and especially in sports. Resilience training is used a lot in sports psychology. And those are some other examples of organisations that I've personally worked with to deliver resilience training. What are the benefits to you as HR managers if you do workforce resilience training? You reduce the levels of absenteeism and presenteeism. Your staff don't leave. They don't go and get better jobs with more money, better work-life balance elsewhere. As Joseph Cadbury knew, a healthier workforce makes higher productivity. Motivated, engaged staff, higher performance. So cost savings, and the last point, you may not believe this, but resilience training can actually deliver people who want to come to work on Monday morning. Do you want to come to work every Monday morning? I bet you don't, do you? If you have resilience training, it could change. Believe me. So my question to you is, can you afford not to have workforce resilience training? Is it crucial to the success of an organisation? Yes, it is. So if you want to know more about this, you can visit my website, you can contact me through that website. But this is the end of my presentation now, so I'm quite happy to take questions. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening to me.
And we thank you very much. Yes, please stay for a couple of minutes for additional questions from the audience. Tak to byla Jo Higgins Cezzy, která pracuje jako Senior Executive Coach and Trainer pro společnost Beaumont Training and Consultancy ze Spojeného království. Teď je tady prostor pro další otázky.
Hi, thanks a lot for a very interesting topic. I would be interested how this resilience training looks like. For example, how many days and what is the mixture of the teaching methods, or what's the experience the participants will take away from those trainings?
It has different packages. There are one-day trainings, there are two-day trainings with follow-up coaching sessions. Sometimes I present to rooms like this. It really works better with groups of 12 to 15 people, because then we can get to have some really, really good in-depth conversations, because people can only change themselves. I can't change your staff through workforce resilience training. They need to want to change, but most people do when they've had the training. I've had examples of doing the training where people have walked into the training like this, and they've walked out like this. And they've actually said, it's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I've struggled with this problem for so long, and you've taken it away. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Hello, I have a question because now I understand the difference between resilience and resistance. And also I can understand that people are going through different moods. One day you might be resilient, the second day you might be resistant. Somewhere between you might be also reluctant to some things. My question is, how do you believe that when are always possibility to convert the people from resistance to resilience? And if not, where is the moment when we can say there is no way, there is no chance how to help?
Yes, to pick up on the previous question, nobody in this room can change anybody. Nobody can do that. People change themselves. If people don't change, you change the people. You get rid of them. But you've picked up on an important point there. Resilience isn't black and white. It's a continuum. Now, all of us are somewhere along that continuum. And as you say, you can be here one day and here the next and here there. The important thing is for you to become aware, first of all, that there is this continuum. Secondly, where you are on that continuum. And thirdly, what makes you change from here to here. And therefore, what do you need to do to make sure that you are consistently here and that you have resilient goals which will take you here? There's no sort of cut-off point. It's not black and white. It is, as I say, very much a continuum. Does that answer your question?
Tak poslední otázku, jestli máme ještě?
It's a very interesting topic, and I have one question. You compare British society and you know also Czech society. What do you think, from your opinion, what should be the first step in Czech society if we try start with this topic?
I think it would be an absolutely excellent step, because resilience training, although you've seen it on the slide, is happening in the UK, in the US and in other European countries. As far as I'm aware, it's not happening in the Czech Republic at all. So this is a fantastic opportunity for Czech organisations to take advantage of some really innovative training and move them to the next level, because I didn't hear any disagreement when I put the slide up about the challenges facing the Czech Republic. So if you have challenges, resilience training will always help you to overcome those challenges. So the first step would be, I think, to, I don't know, perhaps try out the workforce resilience training. I'm hoping some of you are coming to the seminar tomorrow morning. Try it out, see what it looks like, and then put it into practice and start improving the workplace wellness. I don't think you can argue with PricewaterhouseCoopers. They're not the sort of people that you argue with when they've spent a lot of money on research to say workplace wellness makes commercial sense. Does that answer the question? Thank you.